Alright guys, this is a really big deal because for years and years, people have been asking me how I do my infamous mirror pictures. And I've always kept it a secret, but I decided why not let you guys in on it because it's actually not really that complicated and I've seen a few other people doing it, so I figured why not teach you guys how to do it. Of course, you need a copy of Photoshop, a decent camera that has a self-timer. I use a Canon Rebel, which also has a little remote control, which makes it really easy for me to self-time photos rather than jumping back and forth between the camera. But if you don't have that, it's totally okay. I also recommend using a tripod. If you don't have a tripod, it's going to make things a little difficult because you need to make sure your camera stays in the exact same spot for both photos. This takes a little bit of patience to get the photos right because you need to make sure you cheat out in the right way so that your foreground image looks good. You also have to play around with the reflection image. It's a really big pain, and just to give you an idea, I took 75 photos before deciding which two to use for this tutorial. Goes to show you that I'm a little anal retentive and I'm a perfectionist. So with that being said, I have my two photos. My first one is me putting on mascara, and the second one is me making the scared face. So, like I said, the tripod is going to ensure that the photos are in the exact same spot, as you can see. So what we're going to do is on the mascara layer, I'm going to go ahead and select the layer mask, which is down here in the layers panel. Now what a layer mask essentially is you see this little white box over here in my layers panel. That actually is going to act like a mask. Same thing as a Halloween mask. So the white area represents the mask, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw a hole in the mask, which is going to show us the mirror image underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my tools palette and I'm going to select the magnetic lasso tool, and that's what's going to help me select out the mirror. What a magnetic lasso does is it essentially helps you select an area by running the lasso along whatever is in the image, and it makes your life a lot easier. So I'm going to start up here and I'm just going to slowly go around the mirror. You want to be careful not to select anything inside the mirror, just the edge. If you select inside, it's not that big of a deal. We can fix it later. It will just make this go a lot quicker if you just only pick inside the mirror. Okay, that little running line of ants means that's what we've selected. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our brush right here, and we're also going to make sure here in the color selection that we've got black selected because, like I said, we're going to now draw a hole in our mask. And the reason I selected out the mirror is this way we're not going to accidentally take anything else other than this portion. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to erase just like this, and voila, there I am. Ta-da. Super easy. Okay, now I kind of think that my reflection is small in comparison to the foreground image, and that's probably just because I was taking so many shots and moving around to make sure that my image looked the best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the scared layer, and my transform tools are selected. So you see these little corners on the edge of my image. I'm going to click that, and what you have to make sure you do when you change the size of an image is hold down Shift, and that way your image will be resized proportionately. The thing I can't stand when people use Photoshop is they try to transform without doing it correctly, and then you get images that are stretched and pulled and look really weird. So I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm just going to make this image a little bit bigger. Looks good. And that means I now need to move it so that you don't see the mirror there. Okay, is it just me, or is this image like kind of dirty? Maybe it's because my mirror is dirty. Kaya, please stop barking. So I'm just gonna go through with my black brush and just clean it up and make sure it looks okay. Now if you zoom in, you can see there's some areas right around here where my mirror is a little messed up. So I'm gonna repaint my mask. If you push X, that toggles between your foreground and black background color. So I'm gonna paint in white now, and right along here, and just fix the edge of my mirror here. And make sure that it's, oh, see, here's another area. I'm gonna toggle back to black and just fix right around in here. I mean, and this stuff is so minuscule that honestly, no one is gonna notice it, but I'm really crazy about this stuff. And I make sure I'm gonna change the hardness up on my brush because you don't want this to look fuzzy. Oops. That fuzziness is a dead giveaway that you've been using Photoshop. And just to give you a few little tips here, the way that I actually resize my brush is by using the two brackets next to delete. They actually will make your brush larger and smaller. These are little tricks that will make you so much faster in Photoshop, and ideally you want to be as fast as possible because if someone else can do your job quicker than you can, they're going to get paid more than you will, and they will be more useful. So it's important to know these little shortcuts. So let's zoom out here. Another thing is I'm noticing that this image is kind of like crunchy, right? A little bit. So let's go to filter, noise, and let's just despeckle. And that just is like a slight blur. It's very subtle. It's not that big of a difference, but I notice these types of things. Now what we're going to do is I want to crop my image because we've got this ugly lamp in the background and also the corner of a pillow. Once again, I'm a little crazy. So let's change our width to, let's say, 800 pixels by 600 pixels height. And what that's going to do is restrain my crop tool so that no matter what, it's going to crop it at that width and height. And we don't need this much of a mirror in there. So that looks about good. Oh. And now I think this scared one looks a little dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to my layers panel, and on the bottom there is this little half circle, which is a new fill or adjustment layer, and I'm going to change the levels. And I'm just making sure that I'm only on the scared layer. I'm not doing this on the mascara layer. And I'm going to add just a little bit more white and then change the gray just a little tiny bit. As you see, look, I can change the white like as much as I want, but that looks kind of weird and unnatural. You don't need to do it that much. Oh no. Oh, little quick trick. If you click alternate on a PC or option on a Mac, it changes this cancel to reset. So let's reset because I don't know what just happened. So I'm going to change my gray a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more white. And now I'm going to add just a tiny bit of black so it doesn't look flat. Now, it's a very subtle difference, but I can tell, and just to give you an idea of the difference, if I turn off this adjustment layer, you can see it was a lot darker before, so I really want it to look nice. And, okay, I think that's about it. So, don't say I never told you anything or gave away any of my secrets. This is how you do it. So if you have Photoshop and you're able to put together your own mirror picture, please leave me a video response or email it to me because I'd love to see how yours came out. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.